Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Today is Monday, October the 7th, and this is going to be uh, our very first video on our new channel. It is Daily Bible and Coffee with Jack. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell so that you know when we put up new videos, which will be daily, as the title suggests or the channel name suggests. And give us a thumbs up. We would really appreciate that. We're in a transition period, transitioning the daily Bible reading from our channel Dyer Family Farm over to Daily Bible and Coffee with Jack. Excuse me. So, like I said, this morning is chapter 7 of Proverbs to coincide with October the 7th. So I just synced the proverb and the day of the month together, and that's where we're at. So let's start. I got a note on the entire chapter and then a note on the last portion of the chapter. So just two notes on the whole chapter today in the Bible study portion. But let's jump in here. I got a pre, I don't know what you call this, but this is on verse 1 through 5. I'm going to read verse 1 through 5. This is not my normal note, but I'm going to read it, and then we'll go read this. It's not in the study notes. It is a total independent chapter, not chapter, but paragraph here inside the field of the chapter instead of notes at the bottom of the page. Is what I'm trying to say. It's notes, but it's written differently, and it looks much more exhaustive. So, starts out chapter 7, verse 1. My son, keep my words and treasure my commands within you. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers, write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to wisdom, you are my sister, and call understanding your nearest kin, that they may keep you from the immoral woman, from the seductress who flatters with her words. Now let's look at this. It says Solomon's prescription of purity is to know and obey the words of God, keeping them as we would a treasure. Keep them as we would the most tender part of the anatomy, such as the pupil of the eye, which is sensitive to the slightest speck, because his people are the apple of his eye. And you can look back, it gives some verse references to Deuteronomy 32 and 10, Proverbs 17 and 8, Zechariah 2 and 8. It says, so let his words be to us. We should keep them as we would something precious, such as rings on our finger, which we may have monetary value, but will certainly have sentimental value. We should keep them as we would those we are most fond of, such as friends we cherish in our hearts, and keep them as we would the affection of a close. Sorry, got a note popped up there. As we would the affection of a close relative. This means cultivating familiarity and intimacy with him and his word, as if he were speaking personally to us. If we keep his words this way, they will keep us from compromising situations. That is all good advice. Now I'm going to jump back and start again at verse 1 and go through the entire chapter. We'll talk about the first note and go from there. My son, keep my words and treasure my commands within you. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers, write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to wisdom, you are my sister, and call understanding your nearest kin, that they may keep you from the immoral woman, from the seductress who flatters with her words. Now there's a heading here between verse 5 and 6, is the crafty harlot. For at the window of my house I looked through my lattice, and saw among the simple, I perceive among the youths, a young man devoid of understanding, passing along the street near her corner, and he took the path to her house, in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And there a woman met him, with the attire of a harlot, and a crafty heart. She was loud and rebellious. Her feet would not stay at home. At times she was outside, at times in an open square, lurking at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him. With an imprudent face she said to him, I have peace offerings with me. Today I have paid my vows. So I come out to meet you, delighting, diligently to seek your face, and I have found you. I have spread my bed with tapestry, colored carvings, and Egyptian linen. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until morning. Let us delight ourselves with love. For my husband is not at home. Whew, that should have been the first thing. I mean, not the first thing, but that should have scared him smooth away, the fact she has a husband. For my husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He has taken a bag of money with him and will come home on an appointed day. With her enticing speech, she caused him to yield. With her flattering lips, she seduced him. Immediately he went after her, and an ox goes to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till an arrow struck his liver, as a bird hastened to the snare. He did not know it would cost his life. Now therefore listen to me, my children. Pay attention to the words of my mouth. Do not let your heart turn aside to her ways. Do not stray into her paths, for she has cast down many wounded, and all who were slain by her were strong men. Her house is the way to hell, descending to the chambers of death. And then the note says, to keep the Lord's commandments is the best protection against promiscuity and relational ruin. Faithfulness is the word spawns faithful. Faithfulness to the word spawns faithfulness in the heart. So, short note for the whole chapter. Now we're going to jump back to verse 21 and go back through verse 21 to 27, where I have a final note. With her enticing speech, she causes him to yield. With her flattering lips, she seduced him. Immediately he went after her, as an ox goes to slaughter, or as a fool to correction of the stocks, till an arrow struck his liver, as a bird hastens to the snare. He did not know it would cost his life. Now therefore listen to me, my children. Pay attention to the words of my mouth. Do not let your heart turn aside to her ways. Do not stray into her paths. For she has cast down many wounded, and all who were slain by her were strong men. Her house is the way to hell, descending to the chambers of death. And the final note on the chapter says, affairs do not begin in the bedroom, but in the mind. And you can reference Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 through 30. The heart is the doorway to one's mind and life, and the adulterer uses enticing words, especially flattering, to push it wide open. Stay away from that door, my friends. It is not going to be good. Right, we are going to jump over now to Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 20, and we're going to put on the armor of God, which would protect us when we face these types of scenarios. And don't kid yourself, these types of scenarios exist. Let's go verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, being watchful to this end with all perseverance and supplication for all the saints, and for me, that utterance may be given to me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, that I may speak boldly as I ought to speak. That concludes. We are ready. We are ready to face the day. It's a Monday. I've started mine early. You're seeing this as a pre-recorded video. Thank you guys for jumping over here to this brand new channel. Again, if you hadn't already, please consider subscribing. Give us a thumbs up, hit the notification bell. This is a brand new channel, and this is where we're going to be doing our Bible study from here on until God tells me to quit. I'm going to be doing this every day. So God bless each and every one of you guys. I challenge you to go be a blessing for someone else. And we will see you tomorrow.